Oh, they're hiding in there. I just run in.
This is a cheesy, dude.
It's gonna look so stupid. Oh, I can't breach that.
The one near the download makes you retard.
Huh? Nah. Oh yeah, he's trying. He's dead. He spammed me and killed me.
Disclaimer, please do not go and harass this YouTuber. These actions have been exposed, so you make the conscious decision on either viewing him or not now that this story has come out. Cheating, a plague that has impacted us for a long time. It might come as a shock when one of your very own favorite YouTubers has been doing it. We see it most prevalently on FPS games, and there's certain games where it really stings to be bitten by the venomous, toxic bite of the cheater. Of course, I'm talking about Rust and Escape from Tarkov. Hours of work, even days or weeks, if we want to talk about Rust specifically, can be ripped away from you at a whim if the cheater has a mood for it. And that is one of the reasons why it is so despised in our community. Culturally accepted in the East, here we all know it's wrong. Hence, why when this Rust YouTuber took it upon himself to use cheats, he issued a lengthy apology. Well, kind of. Now, some of you may know who I'm talking about, but a lot of you may not, because it's only been exposed on Twitter and Reddit. But now we've seen a lot of big names getting involved and throwing their opinions into the mix, with the likes of Shroud and my old friend Sequisha condemning this YouTuber's actions. I'm of course talking about Moji. But to really get an insight into why his apology was weak at best, we must first have to go back 2 years into the year of 2018, where the first incident of cheating for Moji happened. So sit back, relax, and let me take you all down a dark path of lies, deceit, and criminal actions. The year is 2018. Rust is still steadily on the rise, the community is flourishing, Rhino Crunch has just been exposed for the second time and banished for good by decoders.
The crossbow nerf needed to fucking happen.
And Moji has just issued an apology. Yes, this isn't the first Raydeo for Moji. In 2018, we'd see his first of 2 apologies for cheating come out, with even myself memeing on the topic. But this apology hit a little different, and it actually went under the radar as he managed to talk his way out of it. How did he do it, you might ask? Well, it was a convenient excuse for Moji's playstyle, and the blame all went to guitar scripts. Moji has always been known as a lackluster PvPer in Rust, so it was easy to believe that he did attempt to download scripts for his mouse so that he could roleplay as a musician. But it didn't sit right with me at the time, and not only me, but certain Rust devs as well. With all of the approved guitar scripts going around that people used and remained unbanned, why was Moji the one that got banned? Well, it might have had something to do with downloading actual scripts, and not even just for Rust, but for CSGO and PUBG as well. His excuse for that was because he wanted to write his own script, but why would you when there are already safe and ready to use options available? Perhaps the pressure of the ever-changing scene of Rust, a pressure I know all too well, was becoming too much for Moji, and he decided to get good without the practice. I feel like that is a more believable reason, especially now with what we know. Twitter, the place where everything normally erupts. A regular wolf pit of exposing and hatred, but also a place of love and support. So let's first start with a bit of positivity from Moji. You see, this tweet is fine, except for the fact that the Rust community has been one of the most tight-knit communities I've ever seen. Big YouTubers and streamers collabing with little ones, no one riding their high horses. Everyone seems like a chill, normal person. Sure, there's been a few rotten apples in our time, but they're normally put in the trash pretty quickly and slowly slink back into the void. Let's talk about Dose of Crown, or Dose of Clown as the community dubbed him, for a moment. A cheater who didn't hide that he cheats was recently laughed out of the community for finally copping a big old, well-deserved ban on YouTube, thanks to the Rust developers. The wolf pit that is Twitter unleashed on him, creator and fans alike, and it was just one of those beautiful, unifying things that comes around every once in a while. Now, this is perhaps the funniest, most ironic thing to come out of this, and that is this tweet. Oh, you hate to see it. Also, as a final note about Twitter, we see some terrible things come from Moji's feed, and I can't help but be reminded of the Black KKK member skit that Dave Chappelle did, where an African American man who was blind is a member of the KKK, as Moji himself is an African American man. Even worse so is his friends circle, who I have heard some pretty heinous things about and the things that they say and post, with one of them even deleting his Twitter to clean house. They also blocked Rcham from being able to see anything that they posted in the Discord channels that he had access to. An innocent person just doesn't do that. Now, I'm not saying that we haven't said and done some foolish things in our time on the internet and ourselves were younger, but those posts alone from Moji were 7 months ago. So, I'm speaking to Rcham, and Rcham is, or was, good friends with Moji for years before this incident, and he's actually the one who recorded Moji cheating in Tarkov. A mutual friend of ours let me know that what had happened, and I kind of said on Twitter, another Rust YouTuber cheating, but I wasn't going to expose it without Rcham doing it first. Rcham, being in a tough situation, needed someone, to push him more towards doing what needed to be done, and it would be hard. Imagine, outing your friend like that, but it's for something so scummy. So you were friends with Moji, Rcham?
Yeah. So we've been friends since, I think, for about 2 years, probably right before he got caught cheating the first time. I was good friends with him back then, and back then he wasn't playing with toxic people really, except for one, which is his best friend, Burned Man. And I didn't really associate with Burned Man too much just because he was extremely racist or whatever. But I had played Rust with Moji quite a bit, and he was always super chill or whatever and fun to play with, but he started playing with more and more toxic people, and that's kind of what led to this situation. I always felt like I could help steer him clear from those people, but that isn't really what happened.
Yeah, as a good friend of Moji's, it must have been hard for you to expose him. Why did you end up doing that?
So I hopped in Discord and I saw that his entire group had changed their names to Hacker 1, Hacker 2, and Hacker 3. And I looked at the live stream because they were all live streaming too, and they were just blatantly running around hacking in Tarkov. So Moji tried to make out like, well, I guess we can get back to his apology later and why it was so shitty, but I saw that he was hacking and I was immediately like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? You're a content creator. Do you know how bad this is going to look for you and me and anyone associated with you for cheating like this? And he started laughing. He was like, nah, bro, it's an Easter egg. Like, look at this. You look in the mirror and you say hacker 3 times and spin around and this happens. And I'm like, he's just trying to, be funny about it or whatever. And I'm like, no, dude, this is serious. You're a content creator and you're cheating. People are not gonna like this. And I tried to talk to him about it for forever, and he just started laughing at me. So I was like, you know what, forget this. So I hopped out of the Discord and started messaging APK, who's a mutual friend of ours. And I'm like, yo, APK, you need to talk some sense into Moji. He won't listen to me, but he's hacking in Tarkov right now, and that's not going to look good on him whatsoever if anyone finds out. So APK tries to message him, but he was on vacation, so he couldn't hop in Discord. And Moji just ignored him and me for about a day and a half. But he was still ignoring me or whatever, and I hopped in a little bit later, I think probably about 2 hours later, and he was still hacking. So I just hit record because I knew that this was going to get out eventually. If it wasn't me, it was going to end up being someone else. And I couldn't associate myself with a cheater at this point anymore. I couldn't put my own reputation on the line just because he wanted to run around like an asshole and cheat in Tarkov, which is a huge fucking problem. If you've never played Tarkov, but you've played Rust, it's pretty much the same thing. Dying fucking sucks. So if you die to a cheater in that game, like you're losing progress, you're losing hours. It's not as bad as Rust, but it's still pretty bad. Like you could end up losing hours of progress just because some asshole wanted to cheat. So I came out with it. I held off for a little bit. I still tried to talk to him in private about it. And apparently he was talking shit about me to his Discord group. He had 3 really toxic Discord members. You had CHEATS, who wasn't really toxic to me, but he was pretty toxic in general. He's really young. He's the one that gave Moji the cheats. Then you had Full Force, who was going around selling the cheats on Moji's Discord and said to me via DMs, which he ended up deleting because that's obviously not going to look good, that he said that he was selling cheats in Moji's Discord. Then you have My Rice, who's just some random European guy who's also really toxic, and Burned Man. Those are the toxic members of their group, and they all came after me after that. Like, why you gotta talk shit just because he's cheating? Like, so what if he's cheating? And just started saying all kinds of nasty shit. And just kept coming after me about it. So eventually I just made the Twitter post about it, and just completely came out about it because I could no longer associate with someone that would, do something that toxic. And it just, cheaters just fucking suck. And if he wanted to be associated with them, then I guess I felt like he deserved whatever he got.
I'm going to be dissecting the apology that he put forward. I mean, that's a train wreck in itself, but there's one thing I want to talk about with you and from the apology, and that's the amount he actually truly played Tarkov. Now, in the apology, he stated that he hardly ever plays it, so it didn't really matter. He doesn't upload it, he doesn't know anything about it or the community or anything, but you've told me that is not true.
It's not true to a degree. So he didn't play it that much, but he did. He played it pretty much extensively back whenever Labs was just added into Tarkov, which I believe was like a year and a half ago. But he's the one, he was super into it. It's like, yo, this game's super cool. You need to buy it, and convinced me to buy the EOD version of the game. So I was playing with him, and we were all doing Labs runs. And Labs is like, the super hardcore map of Tarkov. So he was actively doing that. So he knew about the game well enough. Like, he knew that hacking is an issue in that game. We got killed by hackers, actually, so he knew firsthand what it was like to die to hackers. So yeah, he didn't play it recently. Like, he didn't play much last wipe, and he didn't play, I don't think he played much of this wipe either. But he did play it. He used to play it extensively, and he knows about the game. Like, he can't say that he doesn't know anything about the game and just started playing. That's bullshit. Yeah, I mean, I guess one more thing too with his apology. He made it out like he was only cheating for 20 minutes and then stopped. It was a good 2 hours plus. And that if something had not happened, he would have made it a regular thing. Like, he blatantly just he was just blatantly hacking. Like, he even changed his name to Hacker. So I feel like that says a lot, that like he would have continued doing what he was doing.
Now that we've established that Moji had scripts back in 2018, let's fast forward and come back to the present. We've seen a lot of backlash on Twitter from fans and creators alike, and now even Reddit has joined in, with this post gaining over 11.1 thousand upvotes and hundreds of angry players airing their frustrations in the comments. As we can see in the post from Rcham, who filmed Moji cheating while he was privately streaming it to his friends on Discord, he says that even after trying to explain to him why cheating was bad, the harassment began from Moji and his friends. Now, let's go through and dissect this apology. I'm genuinely sorry, I've made a mistake. A lot of information has been taken out of context, and there are many accusations floating around the community right now. So I want to be completely transparent and address you guys on the situation that is going on right now regarding me. A couple nights ago, I was messing out in Discord with a few friends. One of them, who I have since cut ties with, offered me a cheat for a game called Escape from Tarkov, and I imprudently decided to mess around with them for 20 minutes before uninstalling them, not knowing much about the game or having any relation to the Tarkov community. In this part, Moji talks about barely playing the game and having any stake in Tarkov's community, like that makes it okay to cheat. But this in itself is a lie. Just going off what Rcham said earlier, we can see that Moji has in fact played this game quite extensively, even going as far as to buy the $140 Edge of Darkness edition of Tarkov to hold all the extra loot he would be getting by playing the game a lot. He even loved the game so much he talked it up to his friends to bring them into it and to play it with him. We've also begun to see that he is shifting blame to others in the apology, like a drowning man grabbing onto others. Yes, the person who gave you the cheats is also a scumbag, but you're a grown man with the ability to make decisions on what is right and what is wrong. I'm also going to have to hit X on the only using the cheats for 20 minutes, after all of the other information that has been presented. Another content creator then recorded it and posted on Twitter. At the time, I was completely oblivious to what the consequences would stack up to be. Not knowing much about Tarkov, I treated it as a joke. Obviously, this was a huge misjudgment and was completely wrong on my end. Cheating in any game is no joke, it's selfish. I realized that no matter what the game is, or how seriously you may take the game personally, cheating ruins other players' experiences and deceives the community. Even as an influencer in the Rust community, I should never support cheating in any game. I think in this statement, Moji has tried to feign ignorance in hopes that it's chalked up to him just not being very bright by saying he was oblivious to what the consequences would be. But in reality, Moji has been through this before with the scripts from 2018, and has even seen what it does to others, even being part of the mob who laughed Dose of Clown out of the community. I want to apologize to the Tarkov and Rust communities, my supporters, my fellow creators, and friends. My actions have been extremely foolish and unfair, and as an influencer in the gaming community, I've done a major disservice to all of you, and I recognize I am supposed to be an exemplar to the Rust community and the wider gaming community. My miscue to stream cheats in another game, even as a brief joke, was incredibly naive, and I have jeopardized not only my reputation, but the reputation of our community and fellow creators. Although this was a one-time stand that only lasted about 20 minutes, I understand the repercussions that will come from this and take full responsibility. I regret my actions and should have known better. Yes, as someone who has joined in on the dog pile of another content creator who was a cheater, you think you would have known better. But the thing I'm most curious about in this part is the joke. What could the joke possibly be? What was the punchline? Is this like the great prank YouTuber defense of, bruh, it's just a joke, bruh? Either way, I don't think a single soul who saw the video in the question could possibly see the joke in your actions. Also, if it wasn't for those damn meddling kids and you had gotten away with it, I feel like you would have continued to cheat. But it just so happens that Rcham caught you on the first go. Also, I'd like to point out that cheating in these games is a criminal action. Creating original content is my passion, and I have established my name around playing survival sandbox games like Rust in the most unique/creative ways possible. As you have probably noticed, YouTube is not my full-time job, and it is rather a side hobby for me personally. This is why I do not upload as often as I would like, but I've taken my position as an influencer for granted, and I have been very ill-advised with my judgment. I would like to confess to everyone who has watched and supported my content for these past 2 years, and the journey has been amazing. It was foolish of me not to realize the impact I have on my viewers and the community as a whole. I love creating the content that I make for you guys, and I now understand that I need to take my career and reputation much more seriously, and I have the obligation as a content creator to be responsible and make the right decisions. It is purely my duty to entertain you guys while being a good role model. I understand that my fellow creators and supporters have lost trust in me. Henceforth, I will no longer conduct my brand in such a casual and ill-advised manner. I vow to be more professional, and as an influential figure in the community, I will take the initiative to never make such a foolish decision again. Thanks for reading, and I'm sorry. Love you guys. Moji, I don't hate you. I really don't. I hate what you've done. You say that you vow to never let it happen again, but this is the second time. And in my books, you got the rarest of outcomes for the first time. A second chance. And now we're here, 2 years later, and that second chance has been blown. If I could just reiterate on the disclaimer at the beginning, please do not go and harass Moji. He's a fool that made a poor decision, but it was a decision that I do believe doesn't warrant harassment. Instead, now that you know about the situation, you can make the conscientious decision on whether you would still like to view his content or not.
Oh, they're hiding in there. I just run in.
This is a cheese.
It's gonna look so stupid. Oh, I can't breach that.
The one you have to download.
Nah. Oh yeah, he's trying.
That's a bet, right?
He's
That's a
dead.
deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal.
You
right?
spammed
That's a
me
deal,
and
right?
killed me.